U7 Buy provides the most convenient, fastest, and safest way to upgrade your team with numerous positive reviews and verified by top creators from different countries with 24/7 online customer support. Now you can enjoy an extra free coins for every order. Don't miss the opportunity for up to 4 million free coins. Use my code Inception for another 8% off. Okay, guys, so we're gonna go ahead and do a video for Legacy of Lioness, EAFC 25 Evolution. We're gonna check out what the improvements are for this one for a paid evolution. We wanted to do 2 separate videos because the free one actually wasn't too bad. And then we have the paid ones. The Evo videos on the channel don't do that crazy right now. Like, I'll be lucky to get them to 4K views, but obviously got to get some content out and try to survive these next 2.5 months, basically, right? But for this one, guys, it is basically a defender upgrade, right? So you do get some pretty significant things, especially if your card already has the base playstyles, right? So the card that's trending the most right now is obviously the Cafu card, because playstyle plus wise, I would say mainly you wouldn't really use whipped pass plus all that often. Like, some people do actually cross the ball. Like, I have seen some people that play like a 4-2-1-3 wide, or wide, what am I saying? 4-2-1-3, and their wingers are more physical oriented dudes that actually can win the ball in the air, that have like 99 jumping, aerial plus. Like, I've seen some people that actually do stuff like that. So if you are one of those people, this could be a really good upgrade for you. Sometimes I put my headphones in and I'm not listening to anything. I don't know why I do that. Anyways, yeah, with Cafu, Team of the Year upgrade, Evolution upgrade, we got to take a look at the playstyles, right? So obviously, one that's like a really, really big deal for this card is providing him with the Quick Step Plus, right? This is what I meant in the rant videos when it comes to the upgrades, that if you have a card like this that is not a lengthy player, in order to make him more usable, you do need to provide him with the Quick Step Plus, right? Very similar situation to Lala. He might actually have good base mechanic stuff now when it comes to actual defensive quality for certain situations. This card does have the 4-star skills. He's got the 5-star weak foot. The only maybe playstyle that's not as relevant as the whipped pass plus. Maybe you'd prefer a different defensive one, but he does have some good stuff, right? Like, he still has a bruiser, slide tackle, anticipate, intercept, block. So for like physical engagements for a card that you're giving an anchor chemistry style to, you still have generally well formatted pace because it's perfect, and then you have good defense, good physicality. So as a fullback, this should work out really nicely, especially for a card that has the double roll pluses for most of the stuff that you would actually use him for. He even has shooting just in case he gets into a goal scoring opportunity. So yeah, very good upgrade on that one. Definitely would make sense in regards to how he generally looks. Theo Hernandez, I wouldn't really look into this card as much, guys. There are better evolution choices. There has been evolutions that I've used on people's accounts where they have Intercept Plus, they have a Bruiser Plus, they have an Anticipate Plus, they have all that kind of stuff. With a card like this, no Intercept, it's already GG's for me. Like, for me at this point, game is super meta. I think that needs to be significantly better, right? Denzel Dumfries gets an improvement. Honestly, this one could be a pretty decent one because the only other upgrade was basically this one right here. So you're getting like a trade-off, right? Because this card has the Bruiser Plus with the Intercept and the Relentless, while this card has the Relentless, the Whipped Pass, the Quick Step, and the Anticipate, but he still has base playstyles in that area as well. So let's say, for instance, you never unlocked the other Dumfries card, which is this one. Big mistake on your part. It was, you know, if you guys watched the review, it's the card that I said to people all the time. It's still meta. You can now unlock this version of the card, which, here's the thing, right? This card has better dribbling stats, and his dribbling will still sometimes feel physical from time to time, but it's fine with the way that his dribbling works. This one does not have that, right? The agility and balance is significantly lower. You do get other playstyles. So again, you would just use them in a more like physical way, right? When it comes to like defensive qualities, because obviously with the lengthy, with the fact that you're improving his pace to be where it's at, it could still be a decent upgrade if you didn't get the SBC. But to be honest with you guys, if you guys did get the SBC, I still think the SBC is a well-formatted card in general, because they formatted him in a way where it's like perfect pace, perfect defense, perfect physical for the most part. And you have very relevant playstyle pluses, right? And I think from like the season pass, some people gave him like the Anticipate Plus or whatever it was they gave during that time period, which just made the card all the more relevant, right? So that's what I would look into when it comes to that. Maicon, who is generally a card that has good base mechanic stuff, gets some pretty significant improvements for a card like this, right? So again, very similar situation where you can go either down the route of an anchor chemistry style or a shadow, depending on if you want that little bit of extra pace in the card while still giving him a defensive improvement. The card is given two very relevant playstyle pluses, right? This card right here was obviously from the try-hard objective in a sense, right? And during that time period, the only good gameplay objective cards that were like top tier were like Maicon and Maldini, right? So with this card, playstyles wise, he gets a lot of improvements, right? They keep the lengthy on the card. He's a 5-star player, really well formatted in a general sense. So as a right back, he could still potentially be very, very good, right? Especially if you're totally okay with the anchor and giving him that physical boost, because it's always important to have pretty much all the defensive play styles at this point in the game. Like, he still has the bruiser, still has the jockey and the block. So a very good improvement there. He should be trending higher than like a Theo Hernandez, in my honest opinion, right? You have some other cards here. So you have Walker, who gets an upgrade, who gets a dribbling boost upgrade specifically. Nothing too interesting on that one, in my opinion. Legacy of a line. We got Zambrotta, who might actually be a little bit better. Doesn't have Anticipate, unfortunately. A card like this, back in the day, if you were to use him as like an attacker and the shooting stats were a little bit higher, like not an attacker, but if you play like a 3-back and he was a right mid, this would be a really cool card, right? But the problem is that he's missing certain things. Like, if you were to give the upgrades to this card the way that you see it, you would still have to provide him with the Anticipate Plus, right? So some people, this is it, not really without the Anticipate. Anticipate's a pretty big play style, I would say, and he doesn't really have that. So pretty important to mention that as well. You have some other cards here like Dumfries. If you still held on to this card, or if you have been improving him as the time has gone by, you have over time gotten a pretty nice meta card, right? So playstyle plus wise, very relevant in every single situation, especially with the Anticipate and the Intercept. But in the fullback position, it's very relevant to work with a bruiser body type and the Anticipate for those certain challenges. He has a press proven, so under pressure, if his dribbling stats, the agility and balance being low can be a little bit of a nuisance, he can at least dribble a little bit better when he's under pressure, right? So very important in that regard. Do I think people will really use Da Costa nowadays? A little bit more debatable, I would say, right? Gusto gets an upgrade from the Conference League card. So it originally had the Rapid Plus, but now gets the Whipped Pass, the Quick Step, and the Anticipate. A card, again, that, for a Chelsea fan, maybe they complete, but the problem is that you probably have to get something like this. Hard to say what his base mechanic stuff is like, because this card has Intercept, no Anticipate, but then this one has the Anticipate, no Intercept, right? So a little bit of a cringe situation there when it comes to fullbacks. But hey, in-game mechanics-wise, there could be potential there for him to be like an absolute monster, right? Who knows? With these cards, you never know sometimes, man. It's a little bit weird, right? Even this Maicon card actually gets a pretty significant upgrade, right? So again, a situation where you just make him a lengthy player, you work with the dribbling being lower on the side, but again, doesn't really have like intercept and stuff for that like balance of an improvement, right? We have some other cards here. So McManaman, he gets whipped, jockey, rapid, and a quick step. Has Anticipate, no intercept, right? So cards like that I wouldn't really look into as much. I'm trying to see if anything like really pops up to me right away. You know what I'm saying? Like Frimpong. The Frimpong card, this one had the Quick Step Plus and the Anticipate. And then at this point in the game, it needs an evolution, because they dropped this card and he was great, but then they dropped Dumfries for significantly cheaper, and Dumfries is better. The way they do stuff is like so weird. But anyways, that card would be crazy if 3-back formations were actually usable, though. That would be a sick card to have in the right mid position. But let's see what else we have here, right? So for trending cards, yeah, see, these are the cards that should be trending a little bit higher, right? So FootGG definitely has like a pretty good idea when it comes to stuff like this, right? So Di Lorenzo, again, a situation where, with an evolution that you're paying for, it's unfortunate that he doesn't have Anticipate, which is pretty relevant, but all pretty relevant play styles in a general sense. Honestly, if you could just remove the Whipped Pass Plus and then give him Anticipate, that would definitely be the main go-to for sure. Yosua gets an upgrade too, so he has long pass, Anticipate, quick step on the card, intercept. Honestly, I'm not really looking into a card like this as much as a fullback, even though you could totally do that if you want to on an anchor, because they at least gave him the quick step plus to initially get that running animation. So he could still be pretty cool in that regard. But I'm more so looking at it from a point of view where it's like, hey, maybe he could be like a deep lying playmaker that's sick, but at the same time, the shooting is not really there. So it'd probably have to actually be a right back that, maybe you want to use something like a false back or something on him, right? That could be pretty cool. because it's weird because left back wise, it's the only one that he has the false back for. Right back, he doesn't really have too much to work with, so wouldn't really make that card trend as much either, to be honest with you. You got Hakimi, you got Cafu again. The lap gets an upgrade, which is hilarious. I don't even know what this is from. Right back to basics, Legacy of a Lioness. Trivella, whipped pass, rapid, and a long ball. If I use them as a right winger, maybe. The usability is there for a right winger. Usability, but like nothing too crazy. Then you got Florenzi and stuff, Frimpong, Kyle Walker. Yeah, I think for this one, it just kind of generally makes the most sense to go down the route of Cafu. I think if you are going to be doing an improvement, he definitely looks like the best choice out of the bunch because he still has the base playstyles. And generally speaking, in the past, Cafu has had good base mechanic animations when it comes to defensive stuff. So it's the risk that you have to be willing to take for a card like this. Do I think you have better options in the fullback position nowadays? Sure, but honestly, a card like this that maybe dribbles a little bit better under a press proven, even though his agility and balance is set up a certain way. He is smaller, right? 5'9", so he's not like a Dumfries bigger guy type of player. I do prefer a Dumfries type of player over these types of dudes, but that's always down to personal preference as well. So yeah, we'll just leave it there for what it is, guys. That's going to be pretty much it for what we've seen, pretty much. Hopefully you guys enjoy this video today for the evolution. We'll see what the vibes are for the next couple of days, man, because what I actually might be doing, guys, for the player reviews is adding some sort of concept towards them instead of just saying it's an actual like player review. Like, I think I'm okay with doing that for maybe the SBC cards or something, but like I kind of have to just come up with like different titles or stuff because people don't really care about it from a gameplay perspective as much. It's more so just like being entertained from the video, if that makes sense. So we'll see what we could do with that to kind of change things up a little bit, make it interesting for people, and we'll see what the vibes are there, okay? Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace out, dudes. Love you guys.